they'll convert, because secular atheists never have a problem converting like Carlos the Jackal did to Islam, because to a secular atheist, saying 10 or 12 words about Muhammad and Islam, it's just, you know, an incantation.
And as long as they can kill Christians, I mean, that's the real target. I mean, they want to mount our head on the wall, so they like it.
Well, of course they like it. Now, in the end, the Islamists will win because they're willing to behead everybody in sight, including atheists that don't convert. So the atheists will convert. The left will just, like Carlos the Jackal, the left will just switch gears.
Listen, we go out to rallies and see women saying they're feminists, just worshiping Islam and attacking us that we dare criticize it. And they're like crazy. They go, I love Islam. I'm a feminist. Ah. You're like, that's an oxymoron, lady.
Yeah, they're brainwashed. We make fun of North Koreans running out and, you know, going and swooning over their dear leader. But these women in Europe are just as crazy as the North Koreans. You know, they are practically like the children in the Pied Piper of Hamlet story, where they will willingly drown themselves because it's their brainwashing is that deep. People have to understand.
It's Stockholm syndrome.
Works. And that's why it's so important. Your tagline, that there's a war on for your mind, it's absolutely true. And Facebook is the leading fountain of this brainwashing. So resisting Facebook is critical. I was suspended for a couple days from Facebook for just posting a text-only meme, wondering when the moderate Muslims were going to, you know, have a rally against Islamic terrorism. That got me banned for a few days with, you know, threats of being thrown out forever. It's really upside down world. I don't know where we go if you know, Facebook won't let you post the truth.
Well, and people say, well, just leave it. No, it's been given all the attention. It's the platform. It's where the war is. We're going to win and force them to censor us and force them out in the open, like Hillary censoring our aircraft banner hangs. It's only going to make us resist more. Now, Matt Bracken, I want to hold you over when Paul Watson joins us as well. You talked about the frequency increasing when you were here a month ago. You talked about the attacks getting bigger. I mean, I've got to believe at some point this backfires where none of our media will say Islamic terror other than a few people on Fox News. And again, Newt Gingrich is a globalist, but he's telling the truth here. This is a war. We are in a war. And if someone says they want Sharia law, that means they're not going to comply with our law, and they're going to try to force us under it like the mayor of London is now doing. So let's play this clip of Newt Gingrich.
Western civilization is in a war. We should, frankly, test every person from here who is of a Muslim background, and if they believe in Sharia, they should be deported. Sharia is incompatible with Western civilization. Modern Muslims who have given up Sharia, glad to have them as citizens.
All right, let me stop there. Let me just stop right there.
But we need to be fairly...
People call that a radical statement. You can't go to an Islamic country and not submit to them. You go to Saudi Arabia and preach the gospel, you'll be arrested and in prison. So again, they're not tolerant of our tolerance. BS, get the hell out. That's not a radical statement.
We're very fortunate in this country because we do have a constitution. Unlike in Britain, for example, they have no First Amendment or Second. Germany, where they're arresting people for making truthful posts about Islam. But we have a constitution that all the military, police, and government officials have to swear to uphold the Constitution. Part of the Constitution, I forget where it is, what article it is the supreme law of this country. Well, Sharia to a Muslim
it's Article
is the
9.
supreme law of the world. Right? Sharia law is the law of the world. And if you are a believing Muslim, you believe that no man-made law, which is what they consider the Constitution, no man-made law can be above Sharia law. Now, Sharia law holds that women are worth half of a man. A woman who is raped can be stoned to death for adultery if she doesn't have 4 male witnesses conveniently testifying on her behalf. You know, gays can be thrown off of buildings. This is all Sharia law. Now, I wish that the mainstream media, when they play that clip by Newt, they don't explain what Sharia law is, but at least a lot of the sheeple today, at least they've heard of Sharia law.
Absolutely. Stay there, Matt Bracken. We're going to ask the question, though, what's the end game? What do you see happening next? I've been doing this 21 years. I've been politically involved 25 years. I've studied history. I've interviewed the experts across the board. I've tried to hold all this back. But, I mean, I'm actually getting storable food. I'm actually getting medical supplies. I'm actually getting firearms ready. And I've always had some of that. But, I mean, I'm like actually getting the solar panels, you know, on the roof, actually, you know, turned on and working because I'm a busy guy. I'm actually developing collapse plans now. Because I've studied history, I've talked to the experts, I'm looking at what's going on with our power plants getting shut down, the cultural warfare, the attack on the family, the open borders, the government ordering the Border Patrol to release people with TB by the thousands, and it's just spreading everywhere. And I'm like, my God, we are really under attack. This is not negligence. And I know we've had corruption and problems, but I used to get chills every few days thinking about this. I get chills all the time now. My physiology is like, get ready to kick ass. And believe me, I'm not looking for trouble, folks, but you just see the acceleration of everything, the mass killings, the killing of cops, the leftist operations, all of it. It's like evil is being turned loose. And Matt Bracken's riding shotgun with us into the next segment with Paul Watson, former Navy SEAL, author, researcher, who's really predicted all of this. But I got to tell you, it's not a good move for the Western elite who had everything sewn up until you realize they have a desire to bring down the West because they want to control free will. They want a technocracy. And they think their technocracy is going to be able to control Islam, and they're going to double-cross it. That is what's happening. Matt Bracken's right. And I am really upset. I mean, I don't care who you are. It's time to get out of your box. It's time to get aggressive. Matt Bracken, what do we do to really get aggressive? I'm trying as hard as I can. Do you concur with me, though, that this confirms our worst analysis? I mean, this is worse than I thought. It seems like they're moving the timetable up.
Yeah, this is a takedown. This is a destabilization. It's going to accelerate. It's going to go algorithmic. We just had a sidebar diversion over to Nice, France, and that's terrible for Europe and terrible for the world. But I have to go back to Dallas. This is a progression. Obama and his gang have been stoking the racial flames. They got the action that they wanted in Dallas. The next step, and what they really need, is for a right-winger to do a magazine dump into a BLM mob on a freeway, something like that. I'm very concerned about the convention next week. Obviously, a lot of morons have just figured out that if they rent a truck, they can cause mass casualty mayhem. People that might not have thought about that before, they all know now. And the problem that I see is that at some point, somebody's going to unload a magazine right into a crowd. Now, the guy in Dallas, Micah X. Johnson, he at least was using a scope and aiming at police. Otherwise, there would have been 30 other civilians shot. But the next target, which is just going to be a mob of BLM people, you won't need a scope. All you'll need is a perch on a highway overpass, and you'll just be aiming into a crowd of 1,000 people. So every round is going to hit 1 or 2 or 3. That's the next step on the progression. That's the next thing that I see coming. Are you saying BLM is going to hit a general crowd, or the globalists will hit BLM to false flag and make them go crazy? Either a false flag or an own goal, or just some right winger who's off the deep end, who's saying, I'm going to now strike back for... sure, because this is mass mind control. When the media promotes BLM and Obama says it's the cops' fault, it's going to make somebody on the other side unstable and go do this. And they just know how the law of numbers. They can't have any more left-wingers. It doesn't help them when a BLM guy like Micah X. Johnson does it. They need some cracker to do it. They need to provoke some cracker into, firing off a couple magazines into a BLM crowd. I see that as the next step. But the big goal is the elections. If Trump is leading or even close, the left is going to pull out all the stuff. And by the way, he really is now probably leading. He's pulled ahead of Hillary from our internal polling and experts. They now admit that. And that's why they're going into high gear. I agree. And if there's a security climate that is dangerous enough, there might not be elections in November. If there's a race war going on in October, with any time a group of people crowds together, they get sure. What is it? And we're going to hold you over. What does it signify then that he met with the leader of BLM 3 days ago for 3 hours? Obama. Well, it signifies that they're rolling on with the plan. And I don't expect a smooth transfer of power in January. There might not even be elections in November. Yeah, let's talk about that with yourself, Matt Bracken, and Paul Watson straight ahead. I'm Alex Jones. And folks, we're not playing games. I've got total skin in the game. I'm up in Cleveland on the street for 5 days. Okay, so... this is the battle for the Republic, and if we let these people intimidate us and stand down, they're going to dig you out of your house later. You got to face them on the field now. Now is the info war. 100% commitment. It's hard to believe the globalists are really doing it. I knew this stuff was on the drawing board. Man, they are crazy. So was Hitler. So was Stalin. It's just...
But I tell you, they always overestimate their power. They always think they're going to break the West will. And in the end, the globalists are going to fall. This is going to be the final fall. May take 20 years, maybe might take a year. But the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. They're not getting away with this. And I feel sorry for Muslims. They are brainwashed cult members, bullied by their own system, tortured in their own countries. And then so many of them come here and they're henpecked into their orthodoxy. And, you know, and their kid goes out and kills somebody because they're following Islam. So I welcome Islamic heretics that want to be free. The problem is fundamentally the religion says lie to people, say that you're not violent when you are. But never deny the martyrs. So it's all very schizophrenic. That's why they'll never say they're sorry for what these Islamists do. And the controlled corporate weaponized media will never make them say it because they won't tell you it's Islamic. And they'll censor your website. They'll censor your YouTube. The answer is double down. And then when they censor you, double down again and sue them if you have to. I mean, I've filed lawsuits before for censorship. Let me tell you, it got YouTube's attention. And Hillary's trying to block our aircraft in the skies with Hillary for president. She's not going to stop you getting the T-shirts. She's not going to stop us with trucks now in Cleveland and in Philadelphia. I've doubled and tripled down now. We're about to order in Philadelphia like 50 trucks one day with Hillary for president. I mean, I'm just all in. And will putting 50 trucks out there for that day with huge billboards saying Hillary for president, will that bring her down? No, but that action of resistance, that spirit will of defiance to tyranny, never submitting, never backing down, never giving in, and fighting hard. Because you think it's a hard battle now. Wait till they get more of their controls in, folks. The #1 meme for a week was Hillary for president. It's shaking her up. That's just one thing you did, listeners. And our big secret is we're going to teach other people how to fight back so that it doesn't matter what they do to me. The signal, the way to take them down, the blueprint is already out there. And I studied it from history. I integrated it with modern information and the truth, and it's unstoppable. That's a good feeling. The question is, how bad's this war going to get till the globalists give up? I'll use the World War II analogy like at Stalingrad or Leningrad. When the Germans were already beat and collapsed, Hitler didn't give up. It took him a couple of years till they dug him out of his bunker. We've already, I believe, historically defeated the New World Order with Brexit and the rest of it. They know that now. And they're launching desperate Battle of the Bulge type counteroffensives that are going to fail. But do we want to go through 20 years of fighting the New World Order, or do we want to have a mass awakening now and start the program of reversing this? Before I go any further, I'm going to go to our guest. Everybody knows what those of us that are on the tip of the spear are up against. I'm no hero. I'm not going to sit here and have these people overrun us, have the globalists brainwash us, have them destroy our families, shut our country and nations down. I mean, this is like watching my neighbor's house burn or my own house burn. If I get out of the bed and try to get out of the house, I'm not a hero. It's self-preservation. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't get me to stop doing this. You put a gun to my head, I'm not going to stop. I mean, it's just I'm fully, absolutely committed because I'm alive. The general public's in a trance. It's time to break it. They need to see Hillary for President shirts everywhere. You need to get them at InfoWarsStore.com. People need to see our films, our books, our information, Molon Labe everywhere. You need to buy the nutraceuticals so you can be healthier and more focused, like DNA Force, 25% off. We hardly ever do that. It will sell out by next week. We need you to get the X2. We need you to get the non-GMO heirloom seeds and the Brain Force and the super high-quality storable foods. And we have the best solar panel systems, you name it. And the vitamin mineral fusion, fruit punch, all of it's the very best vitamins, the very best supplements. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139. They wouldn't be censoring InfoWars. They wouldn't be censoring the word Islamic terror. They wouldn't be doing all this if we didn't have a capability to bring them down, because you are the power. I'm going to Paul Watson and back to Bracken here in a moment. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is going to be joining us. We'll see where his take is on all this. But before we go any further, again, Hillary hates Hillary for President shirts. That's why everybody should get them. It's that simple. If they were invincible, She wouldn't be trying to threaten comedy clubs and not make fun of her. They wouldn't be trying to, threaten aircraft companies that already said we can't